CNN has a new story out about how the president is home alone and kind of bummed. State of mind of the president, relevant to the whole world. He's making important decisions right now, including on climate change. So let's find out what his state of mind is. Gloria Borger on CNN says, so Trump returns to the White House this week, just as he left, lonely, angry, and not happy with much of anyone. So apparently these knuckleheads thought, well, we'll go abroad and we'll kill it on the trip, and everybody will come back and tell us how great a president we are. You really thought it was going to go down that way? You really thought? First of all, you didn't think there'd be any issues when you were meeting with the Pope who doesn't agree with you, the NATO countries who don't agree with you, and then go around bowing to the Saudi kings. You thought that would go awesome, and that all of a sudden people would forget about Russia? And he's such a child. He comes back, they're like, oh, the Russian investigation is still going on, and now they're talking to Jared Kushner and my lawyer, Michael Cohen. Now I'm lonely and angry. I'm so sad. Are you gonna be okay? Or are you gonna keep crying all day long? This is the guy who would call people baby on Twitter. Well, and of course his favorite is sad, exclamation point. Kind of where we are, isn't it? So they got a lot more. As CNN continues, the presidency Donald Trump is discovering is not an easy or natural fit. Well, you can say that again. The presidency, turns out, is not an easy job if you are very, very stupid. Okay, an anonymous source says he now lives within himself, which is a dangerous place for Donald Trump to be. That's a source that's close to Donald Trump. Not against him, that's one of his guys, and he's within Donald Trump, and that is a very scary place. I agree that it is scary. Now it's scary for the whole world because it has consequences. And the source continues, I see him emotionally withdrawing. He's gained weight. He doesn't have anyone whom he trusts. Yeah, well, look, he fires the people who were close to him. All the guys who thought he was on his side, Rudy Giuliani, Chris Christie, Newt Gingrich, he didn't hire them. He only retains them for as long as they're useful. All the people who gave him money, that's the only thing he cares about. He put them all over his cabinet. And he goes and does crazy things and then he expects people to fix it. In fact, we'll get to that in a second. And when they can't, he gets mad at them. But it's not their fault, it's your fault. And so when he turns inward, all he sees is the sound of darkness. And so this is not going well, man. This is the most powerful guy on earth, unfortunately. And he's going to a bad spot. He's already in a bad spot. It's only getting worse. So the anonymous source continues, he will have to realize that all this trip really did was hit the pause button. It's because the man-child thought that he'd go abroad, and then when he came back with the Mickey Mouse hat on from Disney World, everybody would be like, oh my God, we love you now, Donald. Because all he wants is the love, right? But he can't get it because he's not doing anything that's rational or helping the country or popular. So the more he doesn't get that love that he so desperately needs, the angrier and angrier he gets. He apparently lashed out, according to another White House source, at his advisors and said, you guys work for me, fix this. Well, you can't fix things that you broke, Donald, and you're the president. The buck stops there. You're supposed to fix it. Instead, all you do is break it day in, day out. You told him to go lie for you and say that you fired James Comey because of how he treated Hillary Clinton. What a preposterous lie that was. And then you went out and tweeted and went on TV and said, oh, you fired him because of the quote Russia thing. Then people are beginning to realize, you know what? It's an occupational hazard to do what the president tells you to do, because he's just gonna throw you under the bus a little bit later anyway. You're gonna ruin your reputation, and it's not gonna help because the president is too stupid to realize that don't say you fired the FBI director because he was investigating your connection to Russia. That's obstruction of justice. But Sean Spicer didn't do that. Nobody else did that. You did that. But he never, ever wants to take personal responsibility. So this is the great irony. Conservatives talk about all these things that they accuse liberals of, and then they turn around and do it themselves. Trump has never taken personal responsibility for a single thing, including all of his bankruptcies, all the frauds that he ran, Trump University, all the things that he did to women, including the ones that he bragged about on tape. And so you think he's gonna take responsibility now? He's gonna turn around and go, no, you think it's your fault, not my fault. We have a man-child as president. So Now, back to CNN's reporting, they say some complain he's getting bad advice, legal and political. Quote, no one is giving him the landscape. This is how it works. This is what you should do or not do. And no one has enough control or security to do that, says one source. But that begs the question, of course, of whether a sitting president should actually need to be told that he ought not try to interfere with a federal counterintelligence investigation. Well, that's exactly what the problem is. That he's too stupid to realize that you shouldn't admit obstruction of justice on national television. You can't help the helpless. So finally, they say there is some hope, says one ally, but the president will now be forced to settle down. He only really listens when he's down in the dumps. Are you okay, Donnie? Are you down in the dumps? Do people not like you because you're an idiot and keep getting yourself in more and more trouble? Then look, maybe you should hire competent people and people secure enough, as they point out here, and strong enough to be able to say, hey, that's not a good idea to fire the FBI director while he's investigating you. It's not a good idea to go to your CIA director and your director of national intelligence and tell them to stop an active investigation of you. That's a violation of the law, so maybe you shouldn't do that, you idiot. You might not want to add the last part, he'll fire you on the spot. But if you fire everybody who's got constructive criticism for you, well, lo and behold, you're left with a bunch of incompetent yes men. And of course, at the very, very center of that is the epicenter of incompetence, and that's Donald J. Trump. You don't like ads? I hear you, brother. You know how you can avoid ads for the Young Turks? Become a Young Turks member and get all the content ad-free. TYTnetwork.com/join.